Good morning, YouTube. I'm not sure if you catch the other channel that nobody cares about, Hoobie's Garage. I got my Tesla Cybertruck.
You sure did.
I'm a Tesla owner now.
You are.
And it was quite an experience.
Do you feel entitled, like you're better than everyone else now?
No, I feel really stupid, honestly.
Yeah?
And especially with the writing on the wall when it comes to everything Tesla right now. But before we get into that, because things are looking really bad at Tesla with the layoffs and the sales and everything just in the electric car market, I wanted to talk to you about your experience as a fly on the wall, or a supermodel on the wall, if you will, at the delivery center, experiencing this all with me.
Yeah.
And what you thought of the Cybertruck and the delivery experience.
I thought it was interesting. I'm one of those people, when you set up an appointment, I'm setting my alarm like 5 minutes beforehand, and then 1 minute beforehand, I'm waiting for that conference call or that time to come ready. So your appointment was at, I think, 11:30.
Yes.
And you didn't actually meet and see the truck for about an hour?
Hour and a half.
Is that an hour and a half
hour,
after?
20 minutes.
Which was interesting. And they didn't have it fully charged, which I guess like an iPhone, you don't have it fully charged when you open it up out of a box, but they said they had it at, I believe, 60, and they wanted to give it to you at 70 because we had a long drive back to Wichita.
So from what I could tell, and this is just looking around, my opinion, there were like 3 sales guys. They were sitting there doing nothing the entire time. They could easily transition into helping with deliveries, but I think everybody has their roles. So those sales guys the entire time sitting on their phones.
Right.
There were 2 service writers, like the guys that sell service, that deal with the customers and all that stuff. And then I didn't see very many techs. I saw one guy washing cars and maybe one guy actually working on a Tesla, but I didn't see a lot of techs there that day.
Right.
And then there were the 2 delivery people. And they had one doing a delivery every 30 minutes. So they were way behind, and then that angry customer that was getting into Model Y in front of me that was having issues. So yeah, it turned into a long wait.
Yeah. But the girl that actually like handed you the keys and was there to like give you a tour, like a startup tour.
No, she wasn't. They were supposed to give me the full nickel and dime tour where I learned how to work everything on Tesla, and she did not want to do that. Or
she was busy or whatever it was, but it was fantastic because afterwards I'm like, well, why didn't she like show you the startup routine and just could do a walk around the vehicle? And you have to say it.
I said, because she was a young woman, I as a man did not want to ask her questions because it just felt, it's like going into Home Depot or Lowe's and asking where something is. It's admitting you're a failure as a man.
It's not.
And I had
it's
a similar,
job.
like we have to get April to ask people at Home Depot, where are things? Because I won't do it. And it was similar with the Tesla, like, you have any questions? And I was, it goes in gear like this. And she's like, yeah, okay, I think I want to ask her 20 questions, but I didn't want to because I didn't want to look like not a man, like a stupid man.
So good. No one's going to take your man card. This is a brand new vehicle with a completely different user face than you've ever experienced.
The thing is, it's very intuitive. Once you learn how to work it, it's all very easy, very iPhone-esque, and just getting the hang of it just takes a minute, and then it just clicks and you're fine. But
I can't believe you didn't ask her.
I had like an hour of like, I don't know how to change the mirrors. I don't know how to like, I barely know how to go in this thing.
There was a while, I remember I was following you, and all of a sudden you hard braked. You like slammed on the brakes, and you called me to let me know what was up, because there was nothing in the way, no cars in front of you. Like, what was that?
I'm glad you were paying attention, because there was a dip in the road, or a little bump. And this is on the highway, the interstate, going 80 miles an hour. And it wasn't like a speed bump. It was, whoop, that kind of thing. And the Tesla thought that it was a vehicle or an object that I was about to slam into. So it emergency braked. And emergency braked. And
was it like ABS? Was it loud?
No, it was just a very quick, like a pulse in the brake, like a hard whoa.
Right.
And then, obviously, you were paying attention, thank goodness, because you would have just been in the back of my Cybertruck.
Right.
But yeah, that was definitely a little jarring. I know that the system is still learning on Cybertruck, so they haven't rolled out full autopilot on it yet.
Right.
And so they're collecting data from cameras and driving and all that stuff. So we're the beta testers until they can finally roll it out in a software update.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, I would have liked to see it a little cleaner on the outside. I
wasn't
feel like
clean.
there was like dirt and dust and mud kind of in the wheel fenders, the wheel wells, and
Yeah.
and just the tires seemed dirty, and
It was not glamorous. For
Yeah.
buying a $100,000 car, it was like walking into the store and buying a phone that they dropped it as they were handing it to you
Yeah.
or something. You know, it was kind of it was not glamorous. You could tell that the workers there were sort of frazzled
right.
because they're obviously behind, and then this one couple had a big issue with their car,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's like they're probably thinking, God, now I have to work through lunch to get through all this.
Right.
And I'm sure they were still very professional and very nice, and they
Mm-hmm.
were all great there, but you could tell like they really needed to figure out how they could have these people do dual roles
Right.
or have some more people,
Right.
because Tesla has just laid off 10% of their workforce, or
Mm-hmm.
that is their goal. So in the two factories in Texas, the new one, about 2,700 people. Same with in California, 23, 2,500, something like that. So it
Right.
adds up to about 5,000 people on the factory assembly line because of lower demand on the cars.
Right. Right.
And then they have cut their entire teams when it comes to their supercharger network, which is
Which
crazy.
is a big deal.
We need more of those in Kansas because there's only one. There's only
Right.
one, and it's on the south side of town, like an hour round trip for me to here if I want to supercharge.
Right.
Which is
well, the process when we first got the Cybertruck home, you got an extension cord from the construction going on in the house, plugged it in, and ran the extension cord all the way outside into the driveway,
Mm-hmm.
and it charged maybe 5% in 10 hours. Did you say?
So it went from 25 to 30 in 10 hours.
Right.
And so last night I had to modify a clothes dryer plug with an old extension cord, the big 220 voltage one that I had lying around from my old Tesla, to make it work.
Right. I was so nervous you were going to get electrocuted. There's like everything in my head. I didn't even want to be around because I was so scared.
If you changed I had to change the dryer plug to match it too, and then the one on the wall.
deal.
You know, you turn the fuse off.
220.
It was all screwdrivers. If I had like a drill, and rather than use the hand screwdriver, it would have taken me 20, 30 minutes. Still took me less than an hour.
That's a lot of
so
electricity.
it was
220.
off.
So
It was
then,
off.
then that cord was ran outside again and actually stood on a laundry basket because it had rained, and so we didn't want to get that adapter wet.
Right.
So that's been the experience so
But
far.
now I have pretty fast charging. As we slept 6 or 7 hours, the thing took a full charge. So the problem is solved. When I have my new garage finished or the one off the house, there's going to be a little garage. It's all going to have plugs for electric vehicles because they say that's the future, but everybody's struggling right now. We talk about Lucid. We talk about Fisker and how they're needing $1 billion infusions just to keep going. They're losing money on every single car. Ford pulling back. But Tesla, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Is it rough? As far as their stock price, they had a brief rebound because Elon went to China and they okayed full self-driving there, their autopilot system there, which meant, okay, this is a big deal because Tesla has this and other automakers in China don't.
Right.
But still, Elon has talked about how the Chinese electric cars, how cheap they are. If they do make their way into the U.S. without any kind of tariffs, just at the price that they'd end up being $30,000, $40,000 for really nice looking electric cars,
Right.
we'd
Yeah.
be smoked. They would be bankrupt. Every single automaker would be bankrupt or just quitting EVs.
Right, but are we watching how they build them and what they do with their workers and if they're paying their workers a normal living wage?
Do people care about it with Walmart? It's the same thing. It's
Right.
Walmartizing electric cars.
Right.
So the mom and pop grocery stores and all that stuff, they're all gone because the Walmarts have popped up in the
True.
world. And it's the exact same thing that would happen.
Right.
And it's going to be interesting what they do. So yeah, Tesla, I feel like, is the most reactive as far as it being very quick, and they don't have all the bureaucracy and things. So they've given up on their supercharger team that was like 500 workers. Who knows if that slows down the development of the supercharger network or if they were just deemed unnecessary. Same with their entire department of creating new cars.
Right.
Like their new car, like what's going to be the next great thing to develop? What's going to be the next Cybertruck that everybody's talking about from Tesla? There's the Roadster that they unveiled, I think, before the Cybertruck, and people would put down $200,000 deposits that don't have their cars
Crazy.
yet. I think it's what it is.
Yeah.
But what's next?
I mean, I don't know. I love what Elon's doing with Tesla. It's probably like the Model T when it came out. It was so unusual and crazy. And why would you have a car when you have a horse? Or, you know what I mean? It's just a completely different way of thinking. It's not, oh, let's remake this retro style Challenger and let's remake the Charger. It's a completely new thing. And there's going to be some bugs going along with it. And, you know, as far as layoffs, I mean, Elon is known for, hey, we don't need a conference call if it can fit in an email. So maybe they were just going through their workforce and saying, this is unnecessary. These are
The
unnecessary
purge.
middlemen.
Right, but they don't have like a PR department to email and ask for any statements or anything. It's just Elon tweeting or Xing. Is it still tweeting?
Xing, I think. I don't know.
Whatever. But they've given up on, say, the cheaper cars, like going to be the Tesla Model 2, or they say they don't, but it's not coming. They're just making the Model 3 even cheaper. Same with these different types of production methods, like making an entire car. Here's a photo of what it's supposed to be. Like a whole monocoque, one piece. The floorboards, everything. Like just basically, the car comes out pretty much done from a frame perspective and a body perspective, and they bolt on all the fenders and the batteries and all
I
that stuff,
didn't
and it
even
goes.
say anything funny about when you said monocoque. I just let the monocoque go. I didn't mention it, didn't talk about it.
Currently, it's like putting two together with sort of the battery sort of marrying it. I don't really know all that much, but
Right.
they've slowed down their investing in the future and then just sort of focusing on getting lean, lowering prices of the cars to try and stimulate sales. But the Model S, 12 years old. The Model X getting on 10 years old.
Right.
The Model Y is sort of got a lot of competition now in that price point from every other automaker, the Mustang Mach-E, the Cadillac Lyriq. You name it, everybody is doing something
Right.
that's a competitor to the Model Y, which was their darling.
But there's nothing out there like the Cybertruck. And I kind of looked at it before we had it and was like, oh, what is that? Being in it, driving in it, it's really sexy. It's great. The A-pillar just kind of go sweep out in front of you. And it's just a completely different experience. If you see one and you know the person, or even if you don't, because everyone walks up to you and just wants to take a peek at it, go and check it out because they are actually really cool. And there's so many interesting little Easter eggs inside of it, like the romance
Yes.
part of it, and it plays a fire and music, and heat comes out of where the
To
vents
simulate
are.
the fire with the crackle, yes.
I mean, just there's so many cute little cool things
Gimmicks.
about it. Gimmicks, yes. you could
Gimmicks,
say
but
that.
when it comes to the real deal, and I think the writing's on the wall for the Cybertruck. I'm just seeing lately a lot of people that have orders, they're starting to ramp up production, they're starting to get VINs, and then they're canceling their order.
Right.
It's $100,000, $120,000 for the Cyber Beast.
Well, you
Most
ordered
people,
it 2 years before you get it, right?
4 years.
Okay. Wow.
They were thinking it was going to be 50 grand,
Right.
and it's 100 grand or $120,000. They're coming in, and now they're starting to ramp up production, and most people can't afford it. So I think the writing's on the wall that, at least with the declining values that we've talked about before, because it was 240, now it's about 130 is the resale market for the Cybertruck. But I think in a month, that's gone. I think they are selling for MSRP or below. They start depreciating. The Cyber Beast, maybe 2 or 3 months behind that. And I think the newness is going to wear off on this very quickly because they're ramping up production on the only thing that has any demand really quickly to make money. So me as the new Cybertruck owner that just paid 100 grand, I think in a year I'm going to feel like a complete idiot, and it's going to be like, yeah, we'll give you like $65,000 for it, or who knows.
But that's perfect for your channel.
It is the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube. But for most people, it's not a good situation
That's a
to
tough
be in.
loss. That's a tough loss,
Yeah,
for sure.
and it's a tough, as far as Tesla, as strong as it is as valued as it is, to see these obvious cracks forming. I mean, people could see this, but now the cracks are really starting to leak and seep through, and the issues are really prevalent now.
I love it. I'm power through it. I think it's fantastic, and it's just a completely new way of thinking, and there's going to be bumps in the road.
This bump is going to be like a dam bursting, I feel like, with cars here in the near future. So
Or like herpes.
we'll see. Thank you so much for watching.